Hey Bookaholics, it's Isabel and welcome to another video. As I said in my previous video, I wanted to also give some recommendations of horror movies to watch during this October season. If you haven't watched my other video is all about the spooky movies you can watch that are not horror movies. But if you are like me and you enjoy getting scared and watching those horror movies, you've come to the right place, because here are 13 horror movies that I like to watch during the October season. So let's get right into it. The first movie I want to talk about in this video is Halloween. So this one I felt fit because of the title of it. Halloween follows the character Michael Myers, who was put into a hospital after he killed his sister, and 15 years later he escapes and he starts stalking these different teenagers in this town, and one of them is this babysitter, and she is chased and hunted by Michael Myers. So it's just like a slasher film. It's fun. It's an enjoyable horror movie. It has those jump scares, it has that music that really gets your blood pumping, and it's just a fun ass time. So I'd highly recommend Halloween for the Halloween season. The next one I would love to recommend is Scream. So Scream also has multiple movies and it's been made into a TV series. It definitely has a lot of content you can go check out, but Scream initially is just a slasher film. It follows this person who puts on the Scream mask and starts killing people. If you need to watch a Halloween movie, I highly recommend Scream. The next one I'll recommend is I Know What You Did Last Summer. So this one's also kind of like a slasher movie. This one, a group of 4 teenagers, they're on this drive and they ran over someone and they killed them, but they didn't actually report it or anything. Someone finds out 1 year later and just starts torturing these people, sending them notes about they know what they did last summer, and then they start turning up dead. It's a fun movie. I enjoy it. It's a good horror movie. The next one I recommend, now this one is creepy as hell. It's said to be based on true events, which it is, but it's not based on a true story. But this one follows this couple who are in this remote cabin. They're having like marital problems, so they're in this house, and randomly as they're fighting at like 3 o'clock in the morning, someone knocks on the door. They're asking to see if they know someone who they're looking for, and then they go on their way. Hour later, or however long, they get another knock. This one just follows as this couple is just tormented and tortured throughout this night. So this one is actually probably one of the films that actually scared me. Like, I don't get scared very easily. I do enjoy the horror movies, I enjoy them, but usually they either make me laugh or they just make me just enjoyable movie to watch. It's not one that really scares me. This one though scared the bejesus out of me, because although it's not based on true events, this kind of thing could happen. I highly recommend this movie if you really want to get like scared or freaked out. Definitely a highly recommended movie from me. The next one on this list is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So another one that's been made multiple times as well. This one is said to be based on a true story, but it's based very minorly on a true story. It's based on Ed Gein, I think is his name. Ed Gein was someone who like stole bodies from the graveyard and used the skin and stuff, and like was using them as like ornaments and like things that he would keep for himself, and then he eventually killed 2 people as well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre follows Leatherface in this town where like his family are like cannibals, and he enjoys killing people and using their face to cover his face. It's a creepy ass movie. It has its very psychological moments, it has its jump scares. It's a good horror movie and it's great to watch during the Halloween time, so definitely check it out. Next one I'm going to recommend is Scary Movie. So this one's technically not a horror movie because it's kind of like a parody on Scream. It's a fun one. It's funny, it's a comedy, but it has that slasher kind of film, so it's fun. I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. It's a great one to watch during the Halloween time, especially if you watch too many horror movies and you need to laugh. The next one is another kind of like a comedy one, and it's Idle Hands. Idle Hands follows this boy who is absolutely lazy, does not want to do anything. It's the idea of the idle hand. So idle hands is a devil's plaything kind of thing, and his hand starts moving on its own and wanting to kill people. It's a comedy, it's a funny one, it's enjoyable, but it has its kind of jump scares. I still want to recommend it because it is kind of like a horror movie. it's just a comedy one. The next one, this one is a psychological horror movie, and that is The Shining. Now, The Shining is based off of Stephen King's book, The Shining. This one is definitely more of a psychological, but it does have its paranormal moments as well. I think maybe he's just going insane. But this one follows a family who go up to this hotel that needs to be watched, but no one's up there. The father was like, oh, great idea, I can work on my book here. And so he takes his wife and his kid over there. When you have absolutely no contact with anyone else besides your wife and kid, and you start seeing things and things are just not going your way, yeah, you might go a little bit insane. So that is kind of what this one follows. It's a psychological horror movie. Honestly, this one was creepy as hell. I watched it first when I was young, but I don't remember much from it. I think I might have suppressed it. And then I watched it again closer to when I was like 10 or something, and I watched it by myself downstairs in the basement with the lights off. So I watched it and it creeped me the fuck out. So yeah, I highly recommend it. The next one I'd recommend is It. So I recommend both the 1990 version or the 2017 version. So the 2017 version has the part 1 and part 2. I really love the 2017 version because it had more of a creepy factor for me. It, the 1990 version, it always just felt more like a comedy to me. Like, I know people got so freaked out in that movie, but I think maybe because I initially actually watched that when I was 5 because my cousin wanted to watch it and she was babysitting. So if you want to watch it, just do it, even if you have a 5-year-old cousin with you, whatever. So I watched that and I don't remember much from it. I just remember the beginning with the sheets flapping, and then the end when it is revealed to be just this monster, this spider, and I think that's where my fear of spiders came from. Didn't get fear of clowns, but I got fear of spiders, so you know, that's nice. I watched that one and it never really freaked me out because like the clown was just seems such like a goofball. Like, I know it's supposed to be scary when you see this clown that's not there and it's like doing these things, but honestly it just made me laugh. The new It in 2017, that one freaked me out because there's just so many jump scares. There's just so many things that make you just like, the person who played It was fantastic because he made his face do expressions where he could either be seen as friendly or like he had no feeling whatsoever. Like, it was creepy how much he was able to express through his facial expressions. Like, it was amazing. So yeah, I highly recommend both. The next one I recommend is Candyman. So this is another one that I watched with my cousin at 5 years old. So this one follows this idea that if you say Candyman in front of the mirror 3 times, Candyman would show up. So kind of like the Bloody Mary idea. This person who's like doing research in all these killings that happened, she does this and then the Candyman starts showing up. And I don't remember too much of this one. I think I might have suppressed it. I know I watched it again when I was older, but I don't really remember much. I just remember it involved bees. Guess where my fear of bees came from. I would recommend this one. Maybe not to a 5-year-old. The next one I recommend is Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers probably would be like an absolute creepy ass movie if it didn't turn into like a monster kind of movie, but it is still kind of has that creepy factor. Definitely at the beginning it was definitely more creepy because it felt like it was more like a cannibal kind of movie, which would have made this one so fucking creepy, but it ended up being a monster one. But anyways, it's still an enjoyable one and it's hilarious. One of the most hilarious horror movies that is not necessarily meant to be a comedy, but it was so funny. I laughed so hard in this movie, especially Jeepers Creepers 2. The next one, Freddy versus Jason. This is a combination of Friday the 13th and The Nightmare on Elm Street. This is when Freddy from The Nightmare on Elm Street, kids are no longer afraid of him, so he needs people to be afraid of him, so he uses Jason to do that. And it's one of the funniest horror movies too. Freddy vs. Jason is more funny in like a comedy way. Like, just the things Freddy says, just the things that happen, just makes me giggle. Like, honestly, it's funny. And the last one, I could not do this video without mentioning this one, and that's Child's Play. Child's Play is also a fun one. I think I might like Child's Play 2 better, but I think that might be because I watched it with my 2 siblings when I was probably maybe 7. I'm immune to horror movies for a reason. I was exposed to them way too early. Child's Play is pretty much just follows this serial murderer who dies and his soul goes into this doll Chucky. And this doll Chucky is bought by this family, and then Chucky comes alive and starts killing people. So it's a fun one. It's enjoyable. It has its funny moments, it has its scary moment, and it has its jump scares. It did kind of cause a little bit of fear of dolls. I've kind of gotten over that, but when I was younger I was more afraid of dolls. That is the last movie I like to recommend in this video. Let me know your thoughts on horror movies. Do you watch horror movies? Do you not really get scared? Were you exposed to horror movies way too early in your life? And what are your favorite horror movies? Which one absolutely scared you and which one made you laugh? Just let me know down below. I'm one who's not really scared of paranormal ones. I'm more scared of the ones that could actually happen, such as The Strangers. And I talk about movies, TV shows, and books on this channel, so if you do want to discuss those with me, definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!